Japan in the late 1600s was on its way to becoming a highly urban, mercantile society centered around the capital city of Edo, today's Tokyo. The entrepreneurial classes, long constrained to the bottom of the social hierarchy by the ruling shogunate aristocracy, suddenly found themselves becoming wealthy as trading and manufacturing flourished. During this Edo period, the popular arts thrived, with music, theater, sports, and other forms of entertainment providing outlets for the disposable incomes of these newly rich commoners. This world of transient pleasures, with its kabuki actors, sumo wrestlers, and beguiling geishas, became the subject of a new form of visual art as well. Known as ukiyo-e, literally pictures of the floating world, these images drove a booming market in woodcut prints. Ukiyo-e prints, which combined classical principles of Japanese art with fashionable and up-to-the-minute subjects, became a leading expression of Japanese visual culture and remained popular with all levels of society through the mid-1800s. One of the greatest early masters of ukiyo-e was Kitagawa Utamaro, whose many images of elegant and attractive women set the standard for the style in the late 1700s. His series titled 10 Physiognomies of Women was a study in attitudes as revealed through demeanor. In The Fickle Type, shown here, we see a woman who has just emerged from the bath drying her hands on a towel. She turns to her right while looking left over her shoulder, her loose kimono exposing a glimpse of bare breast. Though she exhibits a formalized design, there is great naturalism in her pose, with closely observed details like the stray hairs at the back of her neck. This print also employs a technique called kirazuri, in which the background of the image is brushed with a thin glue and then sprinkled with ground mica, a mineral that gives the surface a glittery appearance. Additional texture is achieved through blind embossing, an uninked woodblock being used to introduce relief variation to the paper surface. By the later 1700s, ukiyo-e printmakers had developed a highly sophisticated technique for color woodblock printing. The print series, titled Greenhouse Beauties by Utamaro's contemporary Chobensai Eishi, demonstrates the kinds of pattern, color, and texture combinations that the finer ukiyo-e artists were achieving. Unlike most ukiyo-e artists, Eishi was a member of the noble warrior class and found many patrons among the Edo nobility, even while pursuing his interest in populist subjects drawn from the floating world of the commoners. His Greenhouse Beauties depicts courtesans from a high-class brothel. They are presented as placid, submissive, and hyper-refined. Eishi was famous for his extremely elongated female figures, and for the richly ornamented flowing robes of his sitters, as seen here. Works like this one, or like Utamaro's 6 women preparing for bed under a mosquito net, are celebrations of the richness of billowing silk fabrics. So elaborately patterned and textured were these prints that they earned the nickname brocade prints. Such prints required an extraordinary amount of care and technical precision, and were produced in a close collaboration between the artist, printer, and one or more trained carvers. Ukiyo-e prints were usually made using blocks of cherry wood. The artist would prepare a drawing on translucent rice paper, which would then be pasted face down onto a block called the key block to provide a black line version of the artist's work. Once the key block was cut away and the image printed, the artist added notes for where specific colors were to be applied. Additional prints of the key block image were then pasted onto new wood blocks, and a separate block was carved for each color to be used in the final design. Since each block was cut from a duplicate print of the original key block, including not only the artwork but also registration guides for the printer at the top and side of the page, precise alignment of the colors was possible. As the 1800s dawned, ukiyo-e masters and their public turned toward new subjects, emphasizing themes drawn from nature and humanity's place within the natural order. Katsushika Hokusai's best-known works are his numerous views of Mount Fuji, of which the most famous of all is undoubtedly the Great Wave off Kanagawa. Here, Fuji plays background to a violent sea whose breakers tower high above us, overwhelming and threatening to swamp a trio of boats headed into the surge. The intricacies of the wave's breaking edge and the scattering of white spray against a subtly clouded sky all reveal a supreme mastery of the printmaker's art. In the work of Ando Hiroshige, human activity is rendered as just one small part of nature's organic whole. While Hokusai's work moves us close into the action, Hiroshige's elevated vantage points and tiny scurrying figures, enveloped by mist or caught in driving rain, invite us to take a longer view. Where Hokusai dazzles us with his sharp-eyed precision, Hiroshige uses ukiyo-e techniques to model atmospheric effects, drawing out the moods of nature. And after 1854, when the works of these masters reached Europe, both Hokusai's serial prints and Hiroshige's shifting moods of nature would exert a powerful influence on those young painters who were just then working to invent the future of art.